So guys, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about the number one mistake when valuing a cryptocurrency, and that is looking at price. This is going to be one mainly focused towards the beginners of you. So if you are a little bit more advanced, this is probably going to seem very obvious and self-explanatory. This is a very, very common mistake, and even one I made myself. And so, yeah, I really hope you enjoy this video. If you do, I appreciate you leaving a like. It's going to be super quick. And obviously, a quick disclaimer, I can't give financial advice. This is not investment advice. This is just my opinion, except for, market cap and all of the kind of set in stone stuff. So essentially, when you come to the charts, when you're investing in anything, the decision is simple: is the current value that I see on my screen less than what I think it's going to be worth in the future? Because if it's less now than it is in the future, and you think it is, then you are betting on the value of that company, or in the case of crypto, of that coin, going up. Now, the issue is if you are using the physical price to determine the value of the coin, because there's no set in stone way to determine the value of a crypto at all. Whereas with stocks, you've got discounted cash flow, which is just a simple method to project how much a company is making each year into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years into the future, so that you can make a decision and calculate an estimated bit of value. And you can do the same in crypto, but it's a little bit more complicated, and there's no kind of set in stone method. But all of that is pointless if you are using the value based on price. So you're looking at something like, oh, I think VeChain is going to be worth $4 in the future. That's not the right way to do things. The right way to do things is to look at the market cap. Why is the market cap so important? Because the market cap is what tells you the value of the project, of VeChain, okay? And the market cap is calculated by timesing the price, so the price of an individual coin, by the total amount of those coins that are circulating, which is 64.32 billion in this case, and that will give you your market cap. So let's run through an example here. Okay, if you are using price to determine value, a lot of newbies will kind of get into this, and they'll be looking at prices, and maybe they'll even be messing around on the cryptocurrency charts here, and they'll be looking at all the prices going, oh my god, this is Cardano's only $2, or whatever, like, oh my god, let me buy these while they're cheap. And that's really not the right way to be looking at things, because it just doesn't make any sense, and I'll explain exactly why now. So let's run through and calculate these market caps, right? So with VeChain, okay, about 13 cents cost per coin, times that by 64.32 billion coins, which is the circulating supply, which gives us the total value, which is about $8.5 billion. With Ethereum, we've got about $4,000 per coin, 118 billion in circulation, and that gives us a market cap, which is short for market capitalization, or the value of the project, of 476, almost 477 billion US dollars. Okay, now if you were to run with the price only logic and be like, oh, 0.132 is really a massive bargain, and this is a massively extreme example, what I'm going to show you down here, and obviously no one is going to be making predictions like this most of the time for most coins, but it does happen. Is let's imagine that the price of VeChain went up to 4,000 US dollars, because if you're basing things off price, then this would seem like a logical thing. Oh, I think the value of the company is going to go up, and so I think it's, and if you're basing the value on price, then you're like, oh, okay, cool, well, why couldn't it go to $4,000? I mean, Ethereum went up to $4,000, and so you'll see why this doesn't work right now. So if we times this about 4,000 by the same circulating supply that we have with VeChain here, 64.32 billion, the number that we get is 240, almost 241 trillion US dollars with a T. Now, why is that so relevant? Well, to put it into perspective, let's look at the largest companies globally by market cap. So in other words, the value of all of the largest companies in the world. All of these companies in the world combined, their value is only 96.821 trillion. I say only, this is an absolutely insane number. Obviously, it just seems a little bit lower compared to the number we just pulled out of thin air, basically. So that would mean that the value of VeChain would have to quite substantially over double the value of the top 100 companies in the world. And so this is a very extreme example, as I've said, but this is where the real basis, the beginning of an investment decision comes from, because you need to understand that the market cap is more important because it factors in both the supply and the price. Why is that important? Well, imagine we've got two companies, okay? We've got company A, we've got company B. Imagine they release at the same time. They've got the same support from the communities. They've got the same, both got really good technology. Everything else is the same. The only things that are different are the amount of coins that the project owner releases. Project A, the owner releases, or the team releases 300 trillion coins in supply. So there are 300 trillion total. They're only ever going to be 300 trillion. Company B or Project B releases 20 billion, okay? Now, if everything else remains the same, which price is going to be higher? Well, it's obviously going to be the 20 billion, or at least it will be in the future, but more often it will start more expensive as well. That is in the same way as if you had a Pokemon card. Okay, if you have a really rare Pokemon card, we know that there's a demand for Pokemon. There's lots of people who rave and love Pokemon, but if there are only 5 cards in the world, the price is going to be so high. Whereas if you've got 8 billion of those cards, that means everyone on the planet could have a card. What do you think that's going to do to the value? It's going to be so much lower. And so by looking at the price in that situation, as opposed to the actual price in relation to the amount in total supply, that is going to be massively damaging. Okay. And so it's very basic supply and demand. Imagine the supply is the black line and the red is the demand. As the supply goes up, meaning more of them, the demand will go down because they're more readily available, and vice versa. If the supply goes down, meaning they get rarer and rarer, the demand is going to be matched to meet it because they're going to become more and more desirable. Now, of course, this relies on the fact that you have something that is desirable. Obviously, you've got a coin like some meme coins that just have no purpose whatsoever outside of hype or anything like that. They don't really have any long-term purpose. And obviously there are exceptions and, ones that have broken through, but the large majority are either scams or, basically just gambling. And so when we understand this, this is the first question that I will look at when it comes to making an investment decision. Is insert coin, so is VeChain, is Ethereum worth the market cap? Okay, so with VeChain, let's look at the current market cap. I think we calculated it to be, got it right here actually. So the current market cap is about 8.5 billion. And so the real question we need to ask ourselves is 8.5 billion the peak of where we think that value is going to go? Do we think in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, depending on the length of term, the type of investor that you're going to be, do we think that value is going to remain the same, go down, or go up? Do we think it has a huge potential to go up? Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky. I'm going to make a separate video for this entirely, but we find out the answer to this question based off how we calculate the future market cap potential. This will come down to the support of the community, the value of the utility, what problems does it solve, what opportunities does it bring up, what's the quality of the development team, what trends are likely to happen in the future that this coin would, help with or be a part of, or help, innovate in this field. So many different things like that come into it. And so there's not really a set approach, but you can make very educated guesses. And I'm going to make a separate video on this exact topic. But I hope that this has given you a clear insight into determining the value of a crypto instead of just looking at the price being like, oh, that looks pretty cheap. So yeah, I appreciate you watching. If you have enjoyed this, I appreciate you leaving a like. And if you've got any content ideas, let me know in the description box below what type of stuff you want to see. If you want to see what type of coins I'm looking at the moment, what I'm already invested in, and all that sort of stuff, then just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to make that for you. I love you all. Take care. Thank you for all the support so far, considering how new the channel is and all that sort of stuff. I appreciate you. Take care, and I will see you on the next video.